This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, so let's talk about the big question that nobody is answering honestly. Let's talk about it. The one that every emerging photographer asks themselves at some point. Do I need to go to photography school to make this a career? Do I need it? Do I need to go? Now, I know that this is a loaded conversation. Of course, I know that this is a loaded conversation. There are people who swear by formal education. And of course, I respect that. I went to photography school. I went to photography school at the university level. But that was in 1990. And I'm not here to dance around the truth. I'm here to speak from 35 years of real world experience, working in the industry, getting paid, getting published, getting hired by brands like Nike, Apple, and too many to list right now. And shooting celebrities for magazines. Again, too many celebrities to list. I'm not teaching about the game. I'm playing in it. So if you want the truth, not the marketing brochure version of this conversation, you got to stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you could save you $100,000, 4 years of your life, and a lot of regret. I've been a professional photographer for 35 years. I can count on one hand how many photographers I know who went to photography school and are actually making a living from it. Ones that I know. Here's the hard truth. Most photography schools are expensive, outdated, and leave you with a portfolio that nobody cares about. Coaching from a pro, from the right pro, if it's done right, it's definitely a shortcut. And self-learning, it can work, but self-learning and self-assessing takes 3 to 5 to 8 years longer than it needs to. So if you're sitting there wondering which path to actually take, which one actually works, school, coaching, or assisting, or figuring it out alone, stick around. Because I'm about to break down exactly what works in the real world and what keeps most photographers broke and frustrated for years. So, by the way, if you don't know me, I'm Steve Carty. My photography business was struggling, and despite decades of experience, I realized that busy work and inconsistency were holding me back. During COVID, I finally stopped distracting myself, and I started focusing on learning the big business side of this whole thing. And I'd been doing it for 3 decades. Great at making photos, not great at the business side. I'm being honest. I hired coaches. I deep dive studied successful photographers, and I started building systems that actually worked. In the last 2 years, I've billed over $250,000. Today, through the Carty Method, I help photographers worldwide turn their passion for photography into an ethical, profitable career by teaching them the exact strategies that I use to transform my own business. And I'm still using, I'm kind of doing really well right now. I'm excited. I have a huge quote out right now, which is going to happen. Very excited. A 6-figure quote I have out right now. All right. So let's talk about why this matters more than ever in 2025. The landscape of photography has changed. It's completely changed. Hear that. The landscape of professional photography has completely changed. The barrier to entry is gone. Cameras, cheaper than they've ever been. Information, everywhere. And the market is saturated with talented people who never went to photography school, never got a degree, and are out here, building real photography businesses. Meanwhile, photography schools are still charging $30K to $50K to teach what you can find online for free. And most of the stuff that you're learning in photography school isn't relevant to getting work. So the question isn't, rephrase that. The question isn't, is school worth it? The question is actually, what's the smartest, fastest, and most effective way to become a working professional photographer today? And I'm going to be honest with you. Formal education, it's not winning that race anymore. It's sad, but formal education is not winning that race anymore. So here's what you actually need to go pro as a photographer. Let's be clear. If your goal is to turn pro, to make a living doing this, then you don't just need to know how to make pictures. You need to learn how to build a portfolio that gets attention. You have to learn how to identify your ideal niche and position yourself in it. You have to build systems that create consistent income, and you have to reach out to clients and close deals. You have to price your price your work based on value, not the time it took you to do it. You're not charging by the hour. And you have to deliver a premium experience that makes people come back and refer you. This is the kind of stuff I teach inside the Carty method. And that's what I coach photographers through every single week. And that's the part that most photography schools completely skip over. They teach you how to take pictures. They don't tell you to pick a niche. They teach you how to take pictures, but they don't teach you how to make a living with your camera. They don't teach you the business side of photography. The reason is that most photography school professors, I'm not going to say all, most photography school professors, for the most part, are academics. They're artists. Rarely are they in-demand commercial photographers, past or present. And worst of all, they can't tell you how to make money with your camera once photography school is done. Grab this. I went to the best photography school in my country, okay? I'm in Canada. There's 3 great photography schools. Brooks Institute in California, Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, and Ryerson. It's now called Toronto Metropolitan University, the creative school. So in 1990, when I got in, okay, 2,500 photographers applied to my year. 2,500. 75 got in out of that 2,500. How many of those 75 do you think are working pro photographers today? How many? 3. Bryce Duffy, Steve Carty, Michael Alberstadt. 3 of us are working pros from my year. 3 out of 2,500. So let's be fair. Let's make the case for photography school, because I don't want to just shit on photography school for an hour. So let's talk about what photography school does offer, because I'm not here to tear it down. I'm here to give you the full picture. This is what photography school can give you. It can give you structure, okay? A timeline, a curriculum, deadlines. And for some people, super helpful. For most people, this is the best part of photography school, is the structure, which is why I have systems and structure with the Carty method. The next thing that photography school can give you is access. Okay? Access to studio space, to gear, to computer stations, to lighting kit, And sometimes you can even get grants to go there. This is what some photography schools will give you. I'm not going to say all. Some will give you critiques, feedback from instructors, although these critiques are usually more artistic. Oh, I like the light and the flow in this picture, and I love the vibes and how it makes me feel. Like, you're going to get artistic critique more than commercial work critique. It's out of focus. We don't see the product. It's not ever going to be used commercially. Networking. Photography school is great for networking. You're going to meet other creatives, and that network can help you down the line. I still know people who I went to photography school with. I mean, sadly, I see most of them at camera stores working on the other side of the counter while I'm in there buying gear. Like, majority of them that I went to work at camera stores, but I do see them. If you've got unlimited time and money and you want to treat photography as a fine art pursuit more than a business, go to photography school for sure. But if you're trying to go pro, if you're trying to be full-time and you're trying to do that as fast as possible, it's sadly not the most direct path. But there is a real cost, though. There's a real cost for photography school. And it's not just the tuition. Sadly, it's not just the tuition. So let's talk numbers. Tuition alone can run on the low end $5,000 a year to $10,000 a year to $50,000 a year, depending on the program. Now, $50K a year, add in equipment, add in housing, software, cost of living, and you're looking at $100,000 plus and up investment over 4 years. Now, I'm going to ask you something. How long do you think it's going to take you to earn that back as a freelance photographer with no business training? How long do you think it's going to take you to earn back $173,853.46? How long do you think it's going to take you to earn that money back, to pay that money back on top of the other money that you need to make in order for you to live now? How long do you think it's going to take you to earn that back as a freelance photographer with no business training? The truth is, most photography school grads don't start making full-time income for years, if ever. And because they aren't business trained and they don't know what to do after photography school, they all call me. Like, literally, they all call me. And I have like 60 on average emails that I get every May into April, like, hey, I'm a recent graduate and I'm just wondering if you can, like, got some time so I can pick your brain about, because they have no idea what they're doing. They graduate with a degree, they got a few decent images, but they have no idea how the industry works, no idea how to be in the industry, no idea how to approach people. It's not an education. It's a delay. It's a delay. So there's a reason why pro coaching beats the classroom. Okay? So this is what I believe is a better path. Coaching, mentorship, assisting, what I'm building with the Carty method. This is why coaching works. Because you're learning from someone who's actually doing this for a living. You're not sitting in a classroom. You're not turning in bullshit assignments. You're getting direct mentorship, real world assignments, industry level, industry standard assignments like you'd get in the industry. Not taking pictures of apples, and you're getting actual feedback. Your fruit bowl assignment is due on September the 73rd, and you have 6 months to do it. Most importantly, You're learning how to build a career in photography right now, not 10 years ago. Like how cool it was 10 years ago. Like you're not learning how to build a photography career 23, 25, 30 years ago when that professor last got paid to make photos. When I coach photographers inside my Pro Accelerator, I focus on 6 essential phases. 6. And it's so simple. First, your work and a market for that work. Because it's pointless to make work and then look for someone to sell it to. You look for the market and you're like, and then you make work for that market. So much faster, so much smarter. Number 2, you package that work and you package everything. You package your portfolio, you make a website, and you package yourself. You repackage yourself so you can re-release yourself to the world as a creative. Do you look like a creative or do you look like an accountant? Seriously, do you look like an accountant or do you look like a professional photographer? So you are so much a part of your package. Like, how often do you show yourself working? How much of your behind the scenes is you with camera working? A portrait of you with you, because people don't hire your pictures, they hire you. Like, you're the creator. They hire you. So if you're not showing yourself in your outward reach, then no one knows who you are and you will never, ever, ever get hired. People don't hire photographs. They hire people, photographers, creatives. So that's 2. You have to package yourself, your portfolio, your everything. And then after that, we got to get into how to build a photography business. And I call it a value-based business. This is phase 3, building a value-based business. But before we build that business, I have to teach you how to set up a business, like the legal structure and making a corporation and all the different things that go along with running an above board, legit photography corporation, not a side hustle. So I get into that in phase 3. Phase 4 is creating systems that make money. I teach you all the systems that I use to do well over $100,000 a year, every year, consistently, over and over and over again. So I teach you those systems. Phase 5 is I teach you how to outward reach. And you notice how outward reach isn't phase 1. Like, hey, I'm a photographer, because you're not positioned. That's why it's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and then after you have now you're start ready because you're packaged, your work is right, it's positioned right for the right market, your business structure is set up, you have an offer, you know how to make an offer, you have systems in place for everything from shooting to onboarding to retouching to delivery to invoicing to proposals. You have all your systems. Now you're ready to outward reach and start trying to get clients. And those clients, they come. And then integration and mastery of all of these 5 steps and making them all work like a well-oiled machine. That's a career blueprint. And I can give that to you off my head because that is what I do. That is what I teach. But I promise you, photography teachers watching me right now, and they're like, oh yeah, that's good. And they're going to start trying to hack at teaching these 6 systems to their students. But I promise you, this isn't theory. This is execution in motion. This is what I do. This is what I've built. This is my intellectual property. So that is why coaching beats the classroom. That's why coaching beats the classroom every single time. So let's talk about what self-learning gets right and what self-learning gets wrong. Okay. And believe me, this path, you're on it right now. This path has become the most popular one because of YouTube, because of Skillshare, and because of all of the free information on photography that is out in the world. Now, I respect the hustle. Okay. I respect the hustle. I've seen photographers teach themselves how to shoot, retouch, build a website, and they land clients. Okay? But here's the truth that most self-learners don't want to admit. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You can't even comprehend what you don't know. And without a mentor or a guide, you're going to make every single mistake in the book. Every one of them you're going to make. I promise you. Which means wasted time. Which means wasted money. And more importantly, which means wasted opportunities. So let's talk about what you can't learn from YouTube. You can't learn from YouTube. You can learn how to use your camera on YouTube. Absolutely. You can learn how to use Lightroom, how to set up a bad 3-light setup, or like how to mimic someone else's style. By the way, I always recommend to learn how to use one light, master one light, use one light for a year, then learn how to use 2 lights, then 3. It's so rarely that I'm using 3 lights. It's so, I mean, sometimes I use 5 lights, but primarily I'm a purist. So YouTube can teach you some lighting basics, how to set up your camera, how to do street photography, how to copy other people's styles. But YouTube can't give you a roadmap based on your specific goals. A roadmap tailored specifically to you, where you are today and your goals. YouTube can't give you personalized feedback on your work, not when you're just watching, not when you're not a part of any program. YouTube's not giving you systems to get clients. And there's not many photographers on YouTube who are talking about how to get clients. And that isn't absolute bullshit. And YouTube's not giving you the emotional support during the hard seasons. And there are a lot of hard seasons. YouTube's not giving you the support during those times. And YouTube is not giving you accountability. When you're watching some joker on YouTube, he's not keeping you accountable to keep going, helping you when you feel stuck. So you watch a video, you're motivated for a week. Then the algorithm shows you something else. So then now you're watching, oh, now I'm doing that. It's like literally trying to build a building with like plans from 12 different architects. That's what YouTube is like. It's the wild fucking West. And if you're just, oh, I'm on this guy now. Oh, I like what this guy's saying. Oh, it's like, and you're wondering why you're not progressing. It's because you don't have structure. And without structure, you stall out. You can never go deep. And that's why most self-learners end up okay. They're kind of okay. But never like booked fully crazy solid. This is why the Carty method exists. I created the Carty method because I watched too many talented photographers fall through the cracks. They either spent tens of thousands of dollars on photography school and their work, the work that they made in photography school was bullshit and they still don't know how to get work. Or they tried to piece it together on their own and never made it out of amateur status. I built the Carty method to change that, to give photographers a real framework based on 35 years of my professional work to help them go from struggling or stuck to making consistent money with their camera. Not fluff, not theory, deadlines, feedback, accountability, real world systems. The stuff that I wish someone gave me when I was in my first years of business. I'm passionate about this stuff. So let's talk about some stories from the front lines. Let me talk to you about what coaching can actually do. I'm going to give you some examples of what happens when you get the right support. So, Nick Johnson from Eugene, Oregon, he never got traction. He tried to start his photography business a couple of times, but he's been in my pro photography accelerator for a year. He's a full-time photographer. He left his full-time job, and now Nick Johnson, after being with me for 1 year, is no longer in that 9-to-5 grind anymore. He is a full-time photographer, and this is now what he does for a living. And I helped him make that transition. That's Nick Johnson. Sean Thomas came to me wanting to be a car photographer. And he didn't know how to start. He was shooting cars that he saw on the street and doing details only, little details of these cars that he'd see. And I helped him not just shoot details of cars, but shoot the whole car and shoot them on location and interact with these car owners and like be hyper specific to specific brands. And now this is Sean Thomas, who now has Porsche Canada. Like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe calling. And he's assisted on massive shoots for Porsche. And Sean Thomas is on his way. He came to me wanting to be a car photographer. And look at Sean Thomas. Sean Thomas has been with me for a year and a bit. Almost a year and a half, Mr. Sean Thomas. And Joseph Baldwin refined his voice. This Houston photographer, this guy refined his voice. And he built a body of work that gets real attention. And now this guy is getting consistent interest from commercial clients, from business owners, and he's doing work every week. Joseph Baldwin, been with me for 18 months. Like these three, and there's so many more. These are real people. They're not models. They're not actors. They're just photographers who got tired of spinning their wheels and decided to get help. There's so many more examples of these success stories. Just look at the testimonials at thecardymethod.com. If you're in the same place, if you're tired of guessing, tired of starting and stopping, then you already know what the answer is. You already know what the answer is. Now, if you're already in school, if you're already in photography school, or you're dead set on going, here's what I'd recommend. You have to pair photography school with mentorship or assisting. You have to pair them. Because I went from photography school to assisting to full-time photography. Straight like that. Dropped out of photography school after a year, assisted one guy for 6 weeks, and I'm like, I got it. Boom. Started working. It's impossible to be a pro photographer without seeing a pro photographer who is killing it and seeing how they do it. Like being around another pro to see, that's how you do it. Like there's no other way to do it, and trying to figure it on your own is preposterous. Learning it from Mary, who, has like a Canon AE1 and fancies herself a film photographer, and she's going to teach some bullshit program and tell you like that's going to make you money. No, it's just costing you money. That's it. So what you have to do is take a hybrid path if you're in photography school or you're dead set on going. Pair it with mentorship, pair it with assisting, find a coach, join a program like mine. You have to get out of the academic bubble and into the real world while you're still studying. When I was in photography school, I was testing models. I was shooting for the Globe and Mail when I was in photography school. So this hybrid approach can work, but only if you're proactive. Because if you do only what your professors tell you to do, you're losing out already. They don't know what you're supposed to do. So while you're in school, you got to be finding people like me. And I promise you, you're going to be drastically behind if you wait until graduation to start learning how to actually run your business. Because when school ends, your bills, they don't stop. And I promise you, the industry will not slow down or wait for you. The industry doesn't know you exist. So the best shortcut is coaching. And if I had to start from scratch today with no contacts, no clients, no portfolio, would I go to photography school? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd find a photographer who is doing what I want to do, and I'd pay them. I would take the money that I would give to, and I mean, not all the money, because it's like $100,000 or whatever to go to photography school. I'd take like 20 of that, 10 of that, and I'd just put it in a photographer's pocket and be like, teach me everything that you know. Like, that's what I'd do. I'd invest in mentorship. And I'd also build a body of work that was shocking, that got attention, that stopped the scroll. I'd get systems in place. I'd work on like if I sent an email and it like person replied, I'd template that same email and send it out to another person, just rearrange, you know what I mean? And they replied, I'd be like, okay, this is my point of contact. This is the email I send, because it gets 100% response rate. In fact, I actually built a template of all the emails that I send that get 100% response rate, and I put it inside something I call the Cold Outreach Master Pack. You can get it in digital tools at thecartymethod.com. So I'd get systems in place, and I'd start pitching my services in 90 days or less. 90 days, I'd be ready to start pitching. And that's exactly what I teach inside like literally 90 days, start pitching clients. And it's not just about being a better photographer. It's about building a life where your camera pays your bills and your work means something. So many people are making work that means nothing. So you got to make your move. You got to make your move, man. If you've been ready, if you're ready, if you've been ready, stop dabbling. Stop little bit of this, little bit of that. Stop drifting and start building a real career at this. I have the roadmap. You just have to do it. You just have to walk it. Go to thecartymethod.com. Get on the wait list for my accelerator, which starts again in September. I have a killer group of people in my accelerator right now. My accelerator only opens 3 times per year. So get on the wait list for my accelerator and do my professional photographer's readiness scorecard, at least to find out where you are and where you're weak and where you're strong. But what you can't do is waste another year trying to figure this shit out alone. You can't. Your future self will thank you for starting today. Thanks so much for watching.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.